let's talk about things you can do to become a bottom hand dominant caster, if that's what you want to do. First of all, I do not consider myself a predominantly bottom hand dominant caster. And I hear that from Scandi guys, quote unquote, all the time, that I'm not bottom hand dominant, which is fine. It's mostly left-handed that they say that. But I like to use both hands in harmony and in unison to create beautiful loops and get the power I need divvied up between my top and my bottom hand. So let me just say that right off the bat. Number one, get a Spey rod. This is 13'7", and I got a short Scandi shooting head, full floating, with a rod length and a half mono leader. So you want a 15 to 17 to 20 foot leader, depending on your rod size. Say we're gonna start with our lift right here, okay? What we wanna do is make sure our top hand stays right here. So I want my elbow pinned to my side. So top hand elbow pinned to my side about where it hangs, okay? So I don't want my arm, my top arm, going past here. My top arm is gonna act as a swivel, and my bottom hand is gonna be the kind of the power. So I got my left foot forward, okay? It's gonna point to the target, and we're gonna do a touch and go switch cast. It's gonna go like this. Lift, and everything's gonna be bottom hand from here. And this hand, this elbow stays pinned to my rib cage. I don't want it coming back like this and then casting, because you can't get as much bottom hand. So lift, push, cast. Lift, push, cast. I push out and then towards the opposite bank with my bottom hand in a semicircle, half circle. If you want to try it without a line to see what it feels like, so my left foot is forward, and my right or left hand is my top hand. So if I don't move my elbow back here, and my top hand's gonna stay out in front, that means in order for when I get into the fire position, my right arm is gonna be way out here. Okay, this is my bottom hand, and I'm gonna twist my torso a little bit so I can be lined up. Lift. You can do a single Spey and lift, and then rotate your body and push. But a switch cast might be better, so you have to use just your bottom hand. And you are gonna feel, when you start doing this, you're like this, and you go from here to here, you're gonna feel like a monkey and a football. It's gonna feel so weird because you're used to, twisting and casting like this. Okay, which works, but you're gonna be doing from that to, then you just wanna pull with that bottom hand. Watch my top hand. That's all I'm gonna be doing with it. Cock it back. See, I'm throwing a little dart with my top hand. I'm not going too crazy, and you can do waterborne if you wanna, poke it out there, lift, 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 The other thing to remember when you're trying to become bottom hand dominant is when we sweep, we're going to sweep really slow. We're going to anchor the leader and then pull in with our bottom hand. I like to pull about there and stop it there, but it helps to push out and then in a half circle with the bottom hand. So that's just how I would do it. And you got to discipline yourself and do it, and you got to do it a lot, and it's going to feel, you know, when you're going to that big of an extent. When I first went from just casting, however, and I could get it out, I could do both left hand and right hand, but it started getting kind of stupid looking when I went to cast longer lines. Here's how I used to cast many moons ago, using mostly top hand. And then so when I learned that I had to keep this hand in front and this hand out here, it felt so awkward. I'll try to get a video up of when I was first starting out, because it was really difficult. And here's me after Yanis got a hold of me, and I'm trying to use my bottom hand, and I look like a monkey. But it's just what you have to do. And it's going to feel really weird. And so really now, if I'm going to underhand cast, I kind of don't. I use more top hand. That top hand, it's like you have the rod tip in your top hand and you become an artist with your top hand, because there's a lot of control and finesse in there. And if I want to throw a pointy loop, I'm going to go like that, you know. So and you don't worry about anything. So you got one thing to worry about, and that's keeping that elbow pinned and pushing with your right hand or your bottom hand and casting. So yes, you can cast just like this. Not using a lot of, and it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of changing bad habits and learning a new way. So that's how I would recommend it. That's just one way to do it. It's how I would do it. All beginning casters, I think, should start with a little scandy line, a floating scandy line, and learn to use the bottom hand correctly. And then, like if I was fishing, I wouldn't really get stuck on bottom hand. I fish more like that, you know, stop it here as opposed to stopping it there. You got to add that top hand a little bit, because if you don't, your loop's gonna, if you just flip it like this and don't, you know, flip that tip down, it's gonna throw your loop down. Loop's gonna be going this way. I want my loop to be more pointing kind of out. So that's how I would do it.